very good for us to have an overview of everything that the learners learn in senior phase. Sometimes we only teach one subject and we don't know what they learn in the other subjects. And often we teach in a phase below or above, and it's good for us to look and see what do the learners actually learn in senior phase in the different subjects. So now the first subject that they all do is home language, and this is a compulsory subject. In fact, all of these subjects are compulsory. And this is the language that the learner speaks at home. It is divided into listening, speaking, reading and viewing, writing and presenting, and then language structures and conventions. And language structures and conventions is integrated and infiltrated into all of the other groups as well. It is essential that the learners really grasp these skills of home language because this feeds into and forms the basis for all of the other subjects. If a learner is struggling to read and write and listen and speak, they're going to struggle in all of the other subjects. Every learner is also required to do first additional language. Now this is going to differ from school to school, and it may also be the LOLT, or the language of learning and teaching of the school. The learners spend 4 hours per week on this, and you'll see it's also divided into listening, speaking, reading and viewing, writing and presenting, and then again language structures and conventions. This is of course not taught at the same level as home language, but you still see those same themes of skills coming through in the teaching and learning. The next subject is mathematics, and although mathematics is the use of symbols and notations for describing numerical, geometric and graphical relationships, there's so many different ways that the learners can learn to do this. So you can see a whole lot of different sections to maths there, and this is all the basis to their grade 10, 11 and 12 years. So it's important that the learners grasp all these skills in the senior phase mathematics. Natural science is divided into 4 topics or themes: matter and materials, life and living, energy and change, and earth and beyond. And through this, they look at science in a systematic way and use explanations and connect up ideas. And they really have a lot of fun. And this is divided, the knowledge of these 4 themes are divided across the 3 years in the senior phase. Economics and management sciences is the basis for your commercial subjects in grade 10, 11 and 12. So the economy that they study is actually the basis of economics. Financial literacy is the basis of accounting, and then your entrepreneurship leads into your business studies. So those 3 together make up economic and management sciences. And again, they look at all sorts of different concepts over those 3 years. Technology stimulates the learners to be innovative and develops their creative and critical thinking skills. It also teaches them to manage time and material resources effectively, and it provides opportunities for collaborative learning and nurtures teamwork. And often this is the subject that the learners really have a lot of fun in, particularly if you've got a keen and enthusiastic teacher teaching them. Now, life orientation, which also goes right from grade R right through to matric, is central to the holistic development of the learners. In senior phase, it addresses skills, knowledge and values for the personal and social and intellectual, emotional and physical growth of the learner. And it's also concerned with the way that all of these facets are interrelated. So they look at aspects of physical education, they look at the world of work and look at what they could do after school, they look at health and social environmental responsibility, and then also just the development of themselves in society. Now, creative arts is a subject that provides exposure to a range of art forms. And if you have a look at the screen, you've got dance, drama, music, and visual arts. So the learners are getting an exposure to a lot of different types of art. And then your social sciences are, of course, divided into 2 components. You've got the geography component and the history component. And both these components are done in all 3 years of the senior phase. Although they focus on map skills in geography and maps in all 3 grades, they look at different aspects of it. They also look at earthquakes, volcanoes, they look at climatic regions, they look at development issues, and then of course looking at resources and sustainability is really important as well. In history, they're also exposed to a variety of different aspects and topics. In grade 7, they look at the transatlantic slave trade, the colonization of Cape, and they also look at cooperation and conflict on the frontiers in the Cape Colony. They also look at the Industrial Revolution, the Mineral Revolution, And then different aspects of World War I and II. And probably the most important that they look at in grade 9 is the turning points in South African history. And this is really relevant to our learners, particularly looking at events such as 1960, 1976, and what happened in 1994. So that gives you an overview of what the learners are learning in our senior phase. And it's really important that every single teacher in every single subject, although the content is important, that they focus on the skills, because skills are what grow and develop our learners. And if they develop these skills correctly and properly and effectively in each of these subjects, they will go on to grade 10 to be able to really cope well with those subjects.